Hi everyone, it's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, and today we are really going to dig deep into something that I didn't even realize until I started doing this blog post that I was participating in. And that is, the blog post started out being open to new possibilities. We're in this incredible new energy. It's increasing every day. We are discovering new aches and pains in our bodies as we learn to negotiate this new energy and become a better match for it. And we're also discovering that we have some discontent with our life the way it is and that we need to upgrade on every level. But the thing that I did not understand or really believe that I was participating in is the worshiping of false idols. To me, that meant you create a statue and you think that statue has some power that you don't have. Well, what I learned today and what I want to share with you is anything can be an idol. The money that's either in or not in your bank account, your paycheck, or wherever it may be coming from, if you give that money power that you feel you don't have, you've created a false idol. So I want us today, when we are listening to what our guides have to share with us, to be really clear. This is something that can be sneak in there without you realizing it, and it can be really draining your ability to make good things happen in your own life. So, just to give the example, using the example of your bank account, let's say you have a bill for $100 and you look in your bank account and you see you've got $125 in your bank account. Well, there are two ways that you can look at that. Actually, they're telling me there are three, so let's look at all three. You can say, oh my gosh, I only have $125. Suddenly that money is really important. It's really powerful. It represents an only or a lack. You could look at it and say, wow, I have $125. That means even after I pay this bill, which I'm going to pay out of gratitude for offering me the service, I'll still have $25 left. Okay, now you're stepping into abundance. You're saying, I'm so powerful that I'm going to create more. But there's still that you're still focused on the number. What they want us to begin doing is saying, I am an unlimited being. I create whatever I need whenever I need it. Nothing stands between me and my prosperity except my belief system. Now, as always, if you've got fear that you're holding on to in your heart, if you have been worshiping the idol of money as though it's something that you're not, you need to go in there and clear it out. It's not going to happen for you. You're going to have to take the action steps. But rather than run after the money, begin running toward that better attitude, that better relationship with prosperity in general. After you've done the work to clear the heart of any fear, limiting belief, or past programming that you've allowed to collect in there. If you need help, as always, go on my page, Marcia Martin, thehearthealer.com. Marcia is spelled M-A-R-C-I-A. I offer a complimentary angel heart healing breakthrough session so that we can look at what's holding you back. This is not a session where I will do all the work for you, but it will help you see what this is costing you, and then you can decide whether you want to go further and actually do the work with me to do the clearing. But remember, every single one of us has come with the ability to do all of the healing necessary. It is so much easier to have someone help you. But if you are completely stuck or you just prefer to do things on your own, it is completely possible. Always possible to do it on your own. It might take you much, much longer. When you work with me, I am your rocket ship. I will get you there quickly. And I will get you there. I absolutely promise that I will get you there. But I don't ever want to have anybody write in and say, God is unfair or my life is bad or horrible because I can't hire you to work with me. No, that's a choice that you're making. And you have the ability to do this on your own. It will took me 40 years of studying to get to this point and practicing and falling in pitfalls. It may take you that long. That's okay. Start now. Start now. Get started. Get going. You can do this. You have the ability. Nothing is standing in the way of your success except you. It might be your attitude. It may be past trauma. It may be a limiting belief. But you are so powerful that you've got the ability to get rid of all that stuff. So anyone that tells you, oh, you need me, you can't do it without me, or you need to say a special prayer and have to say it just this way. No, that's not the way the spiritual realm or God works. God is an equal opportunity provider. He makes sure everyone has the opportunity to receive what they need. You must decide that you want to receive. No one is withholding from you. You are causing that if that's happening in your life. And if that sounds really tough, it is in the beginning. For me, it was the hardest thing I ever had to hear, but it was the only way that I turned my life around. So I will not tell you a lie to make you feel better and watch you stay stuck in the same place for 20 years. You've got to change your attitude if you are thinking negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, or believing that someone is more powerful than you. Just not true. You are everything you need to be. Even if you don't recognize it, it doesn't mean that it's not true. So, join me in stepping into your power and your great attitude. Let that be your new thing for 2019. But I got way off topic, so let's go back and take a look at what they mean by these new possibilities and false idols. Wrap your head around this, and you will really be rewarded with so much clarity and strength. So, they begin. Dear ones, as you continue to merge more fully with the higher vibrational energy, and as you're being exposed to an increased outpouring of unconditional love, most of you are choosing to explore, yet all of you are feeling adrift, uncertain, and unsure about how to proceed. I got to tell you, I get emails every day from people who are really, really, really confused, lost, feeling unmoored. If that's you, make sure that you join our Facebook group, Heal Our Hearts. It's a way for you to get daily teaching on this subject. Let go of how things used to be. This is a planetary ascension, a great awakening. You're never going to be able to go back to sleep. So rather than scuttle like crabs into dark corners where you hope the light cannot find you, become the beings of joy and love that you came here to be, and learn to dance and sing in the uncertainty of higher vibrational energy. This is a big order. So let's not poo-poo what's happening, but please Let's embrace it, because when you embrace the change, instead of fighting against it, you'll reap the rewards. God gives only that which is loving to its children, so you may relax. If you feel that something has come into your life that feels horrible, take a look. Don't automatically say, oh, God is punishing me. First of all, God doesn't punish. Secondly, you receive only that which you are willing to receive, what you are in agreement to receive. So, if something is coming into your life that doesn't feel good, check with yourself first. What are you believing, holding on to, repeating? What resentment have you got going on in there that is attracting more to be resentful, angry, or hurt over? There's absolutely no need to be on alert for anything that's coming to hurt you from God. It's not coming. If it's from Source, it's love. If it's not loving, it's not from Source and therefore doesn't exist. Now, we've got to dig into this a little more thoroughly, but first let's get through this understanding, and then I want to go into this in more detail, because here's your power source, this understanding. So, those products of hatred, anger, fear, and low vibrations which you worship as though they're imbued with a power that's greater than your own are products of your imagination. They don't exist, and they're nothing to fear. And let me tell you, when I first started this journey, I didn't believe that. You could not convince me that I was safe for any money in the world. So therefore, I created circumstances and situations in which I was not safe. When God told you to stop worshiping idols, to stop bowing and scraping to that which is beneath your notice, they meant to stop giving adoration to false products, believing that the products and not you have power. What is the purpose behind all the advertising dollars that are spent by these companies? To convince you that you need what they have. They are false idols too if you give them power that's greater than you. So just think, when you're starting to give power, am I falling for the advertising? Or is this really a truthful relationship? When you think, talk, and act as though you must be fearful in your life, you've created a false idol, a false god that you've now decided is powerful. You've decided that you'll give your time and attention to all that's powerless, and by doing so, you create a false positive. You make it true. Law of attraction says that you will attract that which you focus on. In other words, you, not somebody else, you, as powerful creator, decide what you make powerful in your life. By giving attention to fear, you make fear, which is nothing, into something as you close the door on the truth, which is loving and supportive. We have to be so careful here. So many things come as a wolf in sheep's clothing, and we have become very complacent. We must be on the alert, not from a position of being afraid. We must be on the alert to say, this does feel good to my heart, or, something feels off about that. I think I'll pass. You don't have to drink the Kool-Aid just because someone else says it's good. And it may be good for that person. It doesn't mean that it's ideal for you. Check with your own heart and don't be afraid to walk your own path. That's where your power is. When you align with you and with Source. We want you to make the best use of this ascension energy by being open to all new possibilities. Say yes to that which you've not considered before. Instead of trotting the well-worn path of, this is what others are thinking and doing, we ask that you ask yourself, what feels best to me? When you become opening to honoring all that you are instead of following in the footsteps of what has always been, you'll experience peace. While you're content to keep the status quo, you may be stifling or smothering your authentic self. The best you can hope for when you're not allowing your authentic self to emerge is mild discontent or melancholy. It doesn't feel super to be out of alignment. But if you ignore it for long enough, if you just pretend that you are something you are not, it's going to devolve into a deep depression that will result along with feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's not going to be pretty. I know, because even though I had my children that I loved more than anything and I loved being a mother, I was not being true to my authentic self. And there was, I don't know that it was a deep depression, because I think my children stopped me from going into a deep depression, but there was that sense of something's missing, that melancholy, that definitely hopelessness, and not knowing how to get out of my own way. It wasn't until I finally agreed to really go on this journey that my life began to feel that it had purpose and value. So when they are encouraging you to open to new outcomes, they don't require that you completely rework your life. This was one of the things that kept me from diving in. I didn't want to walk away from friends and family. They don't ask you to quit your job and shave your head, but they do want you to explore those feelings of discontent, and disconnectedness. When you feel confined, chafing at the bit, and rubbed raw by the way your life is progressing, it's time to begin exploring. Not running off crazy in a new direction. Put out feelers. What beliefs are you holding on to that are allowing you to think small, to believe you're less, or that you're not capable? These thoughts are false idols. Lies that are standing in the way of your relationship and communion with God. Now, please understand, whether you are religious or not, this is not a religious conversation, but God doesn't go away because you don't like religion. That's fine. It doesn't bother me one way or another. I'm not advocating a religion. Just want you to have a personal relationship with God. That's where your fullness lies. It can be within a religious foundation or not. Doesn't make any difference. But just because you're choosing to walk away from God or communing with God, God doesn't go anywhere, but your power does. Your power, ability to be powerful, depends on you having an open relationship with God so that you can be well directed. God has the big picture, and they will show you, hey, 20 feet up ahead, there is a giant ditch. If you keep going the way you're going, you're taking a nosedive. Now you can say, well, I want to go fall on my head. Okay, go ahead, explore. No one's going to stop you. But if you would like to live a life that feels better, partner with the divine. Use the help of the angels. Learn how to communicate with that realm Let go of your petty small self and say yes to that huge, incredible being that you are. That's a life. When you open to new possibilities, you honor the knowledge that you've always believed a certain way. We get it. You've held on to this belief. But you open your heart to the possibility that you could be more. As I always tell you, there's no magic wand. It's not going to be that you wake up, went to sleep with short hair, and wake up with your hair down to your butt. There are no magical transformations like that. Not in the physical and not in the spiritual. Even an operation, if you were to have an operation to redo your whole body, you would have to recover. There's no magical transformation that doesn't require some growth. Be open to the growth. Be open to the possibility that you could have been living a lie that you'd rehearsed until you thought it was true. As you open to new possibilities, you gradually allow your horizons to expand. You try on new beliefs until you find the understanding that feels best to you, even if it doesn't align with your friends and family. Be ready that you may be the one that doesn't fit. That's okay. You must understand that family is a biological or legal designation that is for the purpose of your growth. If you do not see eye to eye with your family, you're not broken. Family is not a life sentence of mediocrity if your vision doesn't line up with your family's values. Jesus told us, a prophet is not honored in his own hometown. If you are having trouble with family, it may be they cannot see you as you truly are. It's okay. Continue to be who you are, and hopefully they will grow to the place where they can see that and see it in their own selves as well. When you're truly loved as God loves you, your choice of values and belief systems would not be a cause for disquietude. There should be no, we don't love you anymore because you don't do what we say. That's not real love anyway. That's just manipulation. Now, they are not suggesting you pack everything and run, nor are they suggesting that you subvert that which feels good to you for someone else. However, they are suggesting that you stay open. Stay open to learning new ways of being. Stay open to deepening your relationship with the divine. Stay open to reviewing and updating your belief systems, including all that you believe yourself to be capable of. Please understand, the days of going into the dark to try to rescue someone else are over. All that did was make two vulnerable individuals. Very dangerous to go into the dark to try to bring someone to the light. And it really has no basis in reality. You must stay in the light and shine even brighter so that you are a reason for them to say, wow, I want what you have. Going into the dark and trying to pull them and coerce them, beg them to come with you? No, they're not ready. Stay in your high place. Reach your hand down. Grab my hand, I'll pull you up to where I am. You don't want to go? That's okay. Someone else will be there to help you when you are ready, or you will help yourself. As the ascension energy continues and each one of you moves further into the spirit and away from the ego, you will understand how much more you can become. Instead of looking at your fullness from the ego standpoint of fear, take a step further into spirit and open yourself to the possibility that you're more than you believed yourself to be. The minute you hear yourself say, I don't think I can do that, you know you're lying. You may not be brilliant at this particular thing, but you can try. You have the ability probably to do it, even if it's not well. So don't shoot yourself. I can't do that. Yes, you can. You're much more than you realize you are. Much more capable. Now take a look at the products you've created. These are evidenced by the relationships you've developed. Are these relationships based on an equality of giving and receiving, or are they weighted toward all giving? Now, very important that you understand this. If you are constantly finding yourself needing to give, it's an indication that you believe you have to do more to be accepted. You don't think you're good enough. If that is hitting you in the heart, you need to go in and do some clearing work. You are more than enough. If someone is helping you believe that you're not good enough, you probably don't need that person in your life, but you definitely need to do some work on self-love. Or perhaps you're reliant on taking. In that case, you're a bully. You use the bully approach and grab what you want through force, believing there isn't enough for all. You believe in lack. You've got to do work in the heart. There's more than enough for all. We live in an abundant universe. But grabbing from others is not the way to receive. Now extend this view outward to the rest of your life interactions. How do you interact with your partner, children, siblings, job, socially? Who are you in any of those roles? Ideally, you should be in a state of balanced flow, neither excessively giving or taking, but participating in both as you are guided. If you find you're heavy in one direction or another, then it's time to open up to new possibilities. Now, here's what is not a possibility: criticism. If you say, oh my gosh, I'm always trying to please people, how stupid, I am really dumb, that's not effective. That's not going to help make things better. Instead, what you can say is, gosh, I really overgive. Well, I'm happy to recognize that I'm out of balance in that area, and I'm going to begin correcting it. Let me be present when I am with other people so that I am more balanced in my relationships. Much easier to come into healing from that place than from the place of criticism. Peace is not possible from a place of imbalance, yet peace is the peace from which all is the place, not peace. Peace is the place from which all creativity flows. When you wish to move into a place of greater prosperity, enter your peaceful place first, and everything will flow to you with ease. If you find that you are struggling, check to see how you're feeling about your life in general. Move into that place of peace. The rehashing of yesterday, the belief system that's never questioned, the being content to play small attitude is just a false idol to the god of fear. When we realize how much power we are giving fear, it is really unfortunate. Open to all possibilities provided by this ascension energy of unconditional love, and you'll open yourself to more of everything. In addition to a deeper and more meaningful spiritual life, you'll experience increasing love, joy, and peace as you gain a sense of contentment. Then because everything is energy and everything is intertwined. The physical, which imitates the spiritual, not the other way around. It doesn't begin on the physical and then slowly make its way to the spiritual. Everything begins as energy. So, the physical, which imitates the spiritual, will begin filling with all of the earthly rewards you desire. Get your heart right first. That's the center of your spiritual being. Get your heart right first. And this is not, I'm going to love everyone while I hold on to resentment. This means go in and do the work necessary to clear the resentment. Don't fake it. Really do the work. Get the heart clear. Get the heart flowing again. And I guarantee you that prosperity will have to make its way to your door. I don't know when. And anyone who tells you that they can create a timeline for you that is accurate really should be questioned, because time is so incredibly fluid and doesn't exist in the energetic realm at all. So technically, no one can give you an accurate idea of how long it will take. They can say maybe 6 months, maybe next month, whatever. But you can change that with your attitude. So don't get fixated on time, and don't say, oh, well, if I don't see a change within a month, I know this thing is completely stupid and I'm not going to do it anymore. First of all, it takes 21 days to change a habit, just to make the change, just to get your mind wrapped around the fact that, hey, we're not going to do it this way anymore. And then you've got to start practicing that new behavior so that it becomes second nature before you're really going to see things change in your physical world. Think of being an athlete. They may learn a new way to, let's say, basketball, to dribble the ball, something that gives them greater flexibility or freedom or control. I don't know a whole lot about basketball. I don't know why I chose that. So let's say they learn this new technique. At first, it's going to feel quite awkward. Then they're really going to have to pay attention. And after many, many, many hours of practice, it may begin to feel natural, normal, second nature to them, so that in the stress of a game, they would be able to continue doing it without being pulled away from the gameplay that they need to be concentrating on. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen without your commitment, and it doesn't happen because you spent 5 minutes practicing. You're going to have to commit to the long haul if you want the life-changing results. If you just want to win the lottery and try to do it by luck or chance, well, we know how many people win the lottery. You can try luck, but probably nothing is going to change. If you want your life to be something magical, then absolutely, I want you to agree to put the effort in. Now, I want to hear from you, star 2, about anything that's bothering you. Let's find out. Is it a false idol? Is it something where you're limiting yourself or your belief? Also, we want to take a look at a little further, deeper look at what they've shared with us. But please, let's all understand there's no going back. We are so deeply into this ascension that saying, well, gee, I just wish that ... that I could go back to eating fast food and believing that that wasn't going to give me a stomach ache. If you have gone to an organic diet and you were to try to go back to fast food, I don't know that you would even be able to digest it because there's such a difference between the quality. But that's where we are in our ascension. Only the difference is we made our choice. What we eat, we choose on a daily basis. And the quality of what we eat, we can choose on a daily basis. But we made the choice to be here when the planet ascended before we even began this life. So that choice was a no return choice unless you decide, okay, I can't handle it. I've got to get off the planet, which is an option too. But recognize we are deeply, deeply, deeply into this ascension energy. So please stop saying, oh, I wish things were like they used to be. I was completely unaware and I liked it that way. Let's be honest. Did you really like it that way? I was asleep at one point too, and it was probably the most agonizing period of my life. And sure, it's challenging to be awake. It's challenging to have to really be mindful and present. But it's so much more rewarding than where I was before. So don't waste any more energy on, gosh, I wish I never woke up. No, you don't. Don't you remember what it was like when you believed yourself to be a victim? Running back into the dark and trying to hide isn't going to work. You already chose, if you are awake now, you already chose to be a leader in the community. Now, there are different ways to lead. Not everybody needs to be in the front of people talking. You can just be a bright, shining light that brings joy to all those around you. But the one thing that you are not going to be able to do is try to pretend that you are happy in the dark or that you don't know better. That's gone. So rather than fear the light, time to step right into trust. My entire life was fear. I was just one ball of fear. Every decision was made from a place of, I am small and inconsequential. Everything I do will negatively impact me in one way or another. It was a horrible way to live. I am so happy to be responsible for my decisions and to know that I always have the choice to make a better decision, that I am not reliant on someone somewhere to make my decisions for me. No one is more powerful than I am in my own life. No one is more powerful than you are in your own life. No one. Okay, off my soapbox. It just really gets me, especially any of you who are women. This is not something that we were taught as children. I am 61. If you're 50 or up, we were not taught as children that we were powerful. So I really want you to understand this. Too many of us gave our power away willingly to the male in the family dynamic. And they were not well educated, so they agreed to receive that power and to believe that they were somehow more special than you are. It created such a screw up that now, as we realize we women are to be honored just as much as the men, we must lovingly take our position of equality. Doesn't have to be with force or angry words or any kind of hatred or no. Just shine your light. Allow them to shine their light. Their light is just as beautiful as your light. It's just not better than your light. Okay, back to what I was saying. So, because anything that appears dark or fearful, we really need to understand this. I promised that I was going to explain this more, because this is really what the Course of Miracles is based on. And I know when I first started reading that, 30 years ago now, I was like, what? This is the stupidest thing I've ever read. This can't, no. Next. Get rid of it. This is too silly. Because the Course of Miracles tells us that everything, which science has now proven, but that everything consists of energy, and that everything can be remade or transformed into something new. And so if you see a product in your life, something that has a consequence of your belief system that you don't like, you don't have to lay down and play dead. You just begin digging in to your belief system and say, okay, where did this originate from? I need to change it at the point of origin. Where did this originate from? What can I do about it? This doesn't feel good, and it's causing me an incredible amount of difficulty in my life. So you trace it back to its point of origin and say, okay, somebody made me believe when I was growing up that healthy grass is purple. And every day they told me, grass is purple, grass is purple, grass is purple. And now I feel crazy because when I look at the grass, I see green, and it's made me believe all this time that I was crazy. Well, we know that grass appears green to us because of the planet that we're inhabiting, and most people would agree with that. And if you were to check in with your heart, is it safe for me to believe that grass, the color of grass, that grass is supposed to be is green? You would feel, yes, that's right. That's all I want you to do. If someone told you when you were growing up that you deserved to be punished, that you were a horrible sinner, that you need to just constantly pay for all of the crimes that you have committed against God, I want you to go into your heart and ask yourself, does that feel right? Or is that an illusion? Is that one of those lies that I've been told to be wary of? Is that somebody, may have been a well-meaning person that truly believed what they were sharing with you, that said to you, believing they were going to keep you safe, hey, you're really a bad person. You're a sinner, and you need to make up for being so bad. So, I want you to feel badly about yourself, your sexuality, your brilliance, your light. If that still makes you feel good, okay, I'm not going to take that away from you. But if that makes you hurt, I want you to ask yourself, if God is love, God is only unconditional love. This is love without judgment. It's not romantic love. If God is only love, why would God be angry with me or want to have me hurt myself to honor them? These illusionary products, these lies that have been fed into society, need to be reviewed and reworked if that's what your heart is telling you. If you are not ready, that's fine. I just want you to ask, does it make sense that a God that is only love wants to punish me? Or is it my belief system, my false beliefs, my illusionary products that don't really exist, that are trying to keep me small, that will separate me from God, my power? If it's a lie, it doesn't exist. It can exist in your world because you believe it and you made it true. But in the world that is real, I can't think of a better word, in the world that was created by God for us, there are no lies, there is no fear, there is no punishment. There are challenges that we are able to grow from and rise above. But all of these lower vibrational energies are not part of the world and the vibrational place of love, joy, and peace, which is where we are. That is our end goal, is always to get into the love, joy, and peace, and to join God in becoming as much godlike as possible. That's everyone's goal in every lifetime. We do take detours on purpose to learn. So we can be delusional in our lifetime and believe, as I believed for many, many years, that I needed to make up for something. I don't really know what it was that I thought I was supposed to be paying back for, but it was really clear that I needed to be making up for whatever bad thing either I had done or perhaps my ancestors had done, or just, I don't know. But boy, I was steeped in the guilt and the shame and the blame. And it made me unable to be the fullest self that I could be for myself. I was still able to help other people. That was so deeply ingrained in me. I came determined to help other people. So I managed to do that to some degree, not to the degree that I'm able to do it now, but to some degree I was able to help others. So those dark products, those low vibrational offerings, are only powerful if you give them your attention. I spent every minute of every day looking for things to be afraid of. And I created a lot of fearful things in my life. Surprising. What a shock. I gave it all my attention and all of my time. And there they did, show right up. When you stop fearing and paying attention to the dark, giving it, believing it should be powerful, I just want you to watch what happens in your life. All of that stuff gradually starts dropping away, because the only thing that was ever giving it power was your attention. Without your attention, it has no power. So remember, when you give your power to a fear-based or low vibrational energy, that's creating that false idol. Fear and low vibrational energies, if they're allowed to be present in your energetic stream, if you pay attention to them, will crowd out all that goodness that's coming to you from the divine. So now you're worshiping by choice. Remember, by choice, because you're choosing where your attention goes, a worthless fear-based product that has the power to bring you harm. Really, though, it's harm through neglect, because you're neglecting the real power source, which is the divine, and you're giving all your attention to the fear. So when you give your attention to fear, you've taken it away from your source of power, and because you're no longer connected to power, you can be vulnerable. And also, we tend to make more mistakes, because we're really down on ourselves when we're in this headspace. This is really where we get cult membership from. When you don't feel good about yourself, when you're really afraid that you have no power, you can become so vulnerable to anyone who says, oh, come with me. If you just do everything I say, I'll make it better. And then you are so grateful to have somebody who claims they're making things better, even though I'm sure it doesn't feel that way to all your entire being, that you're willing to do things that you would never have considered doing before. But you are willing to do them because you're afraid if you don't, they'll dump you back into that dark, fearful place where you were before. But what the person in the cult doesn't realize is they've just traded one fear for another. So let's say you used to be afraid of the dark. Okay, well now you're not afraid of the dark because the cult always has the lights on. But now you're afraid that if you leave the cult, you won't have the light anymore. So it's just trading fears. When you're tuned in and on top of your game, then you're really fully present. And that's when you're connected to Source and you feel powerful. Absolutely everyone has experienced this. Some people call it being in the zone. But you will notice that all of a sudden you sort of like, it's almost to me feels like humming. Like, I can feel the connection. I can feel that I'm where I am supposed to be, doing what I am supposed to be doing. That's when you are really calling on that power. When you're tired, unfocused, distracted by fear, we all make mistakes. And it makes us feel vulnerable because when we start making those mistakes, then oh my gosh, I'm so stupid, look what I did. Okay, that just creates more problem and continues and makes it even worse. So get open to those new possibilities. We are so heavy into this ascension that you're going to be seeing new avenues, new possibilities opening up for you. So be sure to reevaluate where you are, what you're doing, and what you're allowing in your life, and be open. I don't know where it's going to come from. God generally doesn't drop a sack full of gold in your backyard. Generally, we work toward something and are rewarded and compensated in that way. But anything is possible. So let go of all limitations. Any limitation that you place on it has been created by you. So it's not, if you're looking for the bolt of lightning or the sack of gold in your backyard, that's unlikely. But what is very likely is you just have this idea, or you meet someone who says, oh my gosh, I've been looking for someone who is exactly like you. I need to hire blah, blah, blah. And there you go, stepping off into a place of greater prosperity than the place that you are leaving behind, that place of fear, even if you have a job that brings in sufficient income. If you are in fear, you will either find ways to spend more than you make so that you can hold on to your fear, or you will live in constant fear that that job will be taken away from you and you won't be able to enjoy any relaxation or any time, anytime, I guess. So, also, do not begrudge the past. All of those skills, those tools, and that knowledge that you have acquired while you were off in the darkness doing those other things, I guarantee you they're going to be valuable. I don't know how it's all going to work for you, but I look back at all of the things that I've had to learn. Some of them were pleasant, some of them were quite unpleasant. But I have yet to find an experience in my past that is not valuable in some way. Sometimes it's just the value of, oh my gosh, I never want to do this again. But it's always valuable. So let go of that resentment or anger that you may be holding on to. Darn, why did I do that? Why did they make that decision? It has enormous and immediate value if you allow it to. It's always on you. Now, as we leave here today, I want you to move forward with the idea that we're going to work now on creating balanced relationships. So most of you are on the call today are empaths, which means you're probably going to be more in the all-giving side of the equation. Check with yourself. Am I giving because I believe I'm not quite as good as the other people in the room and therefore I've got to do more to make up for it? Or am I giving just because I want to give? If you're giving because you want to give, hallelujah. But make sure you are receiving from others as well. You want to stay in a balanced perspective. And for those of you who feel fearful and you need to go in and grab up everything and suck up all the oxygen in the room, this is not criticism. This is just, it's okay. Relax. You're safe. You're going to be okay. You don't have to grab everything. What you do need to do is recognize that there is more than enough, that you live in an abundant universe, and that no matter how much you have, there's still plenty left over. So there's no reason to hoard or to be afraid. You can let your light shine and be loving and kind toward others. So if you're doing more to try to be accepted, or you're grabbing more because you fear that there's not going to be enough, do your best to get into the heart and to clear out that belief and enter into a place of balance. There will be times when you're going to be needing to give more than you're receiving. There will also be times when you are receiving more than you're giving. And I'm going to share something that happened to me just the other day that really illustrated that point for me and helped me realize how far I had come in being able to be a better receiver. And I really want to make that point. Empaths become better receivers. Your life is not going to be able to flow smoothly as long as you stay in that place of I'm not worthy of receiving. So I was at a meeting the other day, and I come out, it's late at night, the temperature has dropped like 20, 30 degrees, which it does here quite often. And so I come out, did not bring a heavy enough jacket, and we're all like, whoa, it's really cold. But I'm looking at my car and I'm saying, something is wrong. It looks tilted. Sure enough, I go around to the passenger side and flat tire. Darn, what am I going to do? So I happen to be with other women, and this is not just everybody in the meeting happened to be a woman. This is not trying to say one is better than the other. So the other women are in their cars, and I'm like, hey, wait, I got a flat tire. I don't know what to do. Do you think I should get some Fix-A-Flat? What do you think? Immediately, they get on their phones. They're calling their partners, children, adult children. They said, okay, I get on the phone. I call my adult children. Hey, guys, I got a flat tire. Either somebody needs to bring me a can of Fix-A-Flat, or I don't know, don't have AAA, can't get it towed or can't get it changed. And so even though I work with the angels every day and speak with them constantly, I had so much earth angel support in these women who were at the meeting with me and from the people on the other end of the phone that it didn't even occur to me to say, hey, angels, send somebody. But sure enough, while everybody is saying, oh, let me check with my car service, or let me see if anybody has AAA, or hang on, here comes a car into the parking lot. And a guy gets out, and one of the women that was at the meeting had been wandering around, knocking on different businesses to see if there was somebody in there that could help us change a tire. She goes running up to the guy, oh, excuse me, could you help us change this tire? The guy looked at her and said, oh, sure, I'd be happy to. Then, while he's changing it, he said, you know what's really interesting? I make deliveries here to this store. We had the meeting at a coffee herb store. I make deliveries to this store. And I wasn't supposed to be here until tomorrow, but they called me and told me to come in today. Otherwise, I would not have been here. Unbelievable. I was only receiving. I did nothing except make a phone call to my children and say, hey, be on the alert. And they called me back, okay, we're leaving, but just want to check. What do you... I said, no, don't come. You don't need to come. The angels have already sent someone, but I didn't interact with the person until they came over to the car. I don't know where I was, or maybe I was on the phone. Everything had been done for me by other people helping me. I was completely on the receiving end. Now, when he got finished, I happened to have some cash in my pocket, so I thanked him with some cash. And then I called my kids and said, okay, you didn't have to come, but here's what I do want you to do. Go get us some dinner. It's now so late that by the time I get home and cook, it's going to be 9 o'clock. So old me would have, I don't know how I would have handled that situation, but I would have tried to do it all on my own. I would not have reached out for help. I would have not considered myself worthy of receiving all of this attention from all of the people that were so kind and helpful. Nor would I have thought to reach out on my way home and say, okay, somebody else has to go get dinner. And it felt so freeing to be able to receive at that magnitude. Now, I'm sure there will be plenty of other times where I am the primary giver. But when you need someone to help you, be open to receiving. They all received the beautiful gift of being givers. To me, I received the beautiful gift of receiving their help. And it will turn around so that I will be helpful to them in their time. And that's the way I want your life to flow. In that beautiful state of balance where you are worshiping only that which is real and truthful and feels good to your heart. That's all that exists. All of the false products, the fear and the lower vibrational energies are not part of the world that God created. They're part of the world that the ego created. They're part of the challenge and growth. But you're here to overcome, to recognize that you are stronger than these false products, these lies. And then you're here to help others understand that as well, so that each one of us can live in a beautiful state of harmony, balance, and power. Think what an incredible world we would be living in if everyone was focused on being in a balanced state of flowing with the divine, the amount of advancement that we could bring forth into the world. Let's plan on that in this ascension energy, being the absolute best that we can be and encouraging others to do the same. Okay, everyone. I So, appreciate you all for being here with me today. As always, join our Facebook group, Heal Our Hearts. It's a supportive community that will help you stay in your high vibration. And if you want help, one-on-one counseling, apply for your complimentary consultation, your angel breakthrough session, to see whether you feel it would be helpful for you to work with me. And for those who are just interested in tools and techniques, go on my website, Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. I have so many classes, practical classes on how you can make it easy to navigate this physical world with spiritual help. All right, that's it for today. Until next Wednesday, I'm sending you all my love.